As you can see, today I have a brand new Venus. I did have to go to the further Target to get her because she's been out at mine since the first time I ever saw that she was in stock there. And I just happened to be on that side of town today, so I swung by and I got lucky. And I'm really excited for her. I'm so excited to repaint all of these fun accessories and maybe add some detail to the vines in her legs. And who knows what else I might decide to do once I'm in there. So let's get her out. That was so nice. Without any tape, that came off so easy. Oh God, I love her hair so much. This hair clip is pretty cute. It's hard to tell what it is, but I like it. I think this belt will be pretty nice once I add some detail. And this shirt's a little folded up and it's separate from the one below. They are each fully separate. The belt unbuckles and the shorts also have Velcro. A little necklace. Earrings that are all kind of metallic, like a painted metallic, not plated. And she has her two mismatched leg warmers. Then these vine overlays on her boots, which definitely need some paint detail. They're really interesting, but you can't see it all very well. Yeah, like the vines on the heel, and that kind of looks like vines stitching together rips. And then a big old zipper. The vines are a nice touch. Try to unwrap one here and take a look at it. They seem to snap into one of these little rip holes, or if not snap, they just kind of nestle into it to hold them on in place. Yeah, they're super like rubbery and bouncy. And just like the belt, the flowery looking parts of this kind of look like leaves and are green, but the hair thing has pink flowers. So I'm just going to make these and the belt match. And the boots do come off pretty easy. This one appears to have the heel bent inward a little bit. Yeah, that one looks more normal. And you can really see the detailing on her feet. The vine details on her legs are really cool, but it gets really interesting around her feet. Kind of almost rooty. And there is like a rubber stopper on the edges of this leg warmer, which is nice because it keeps it from riding down, but it is harder to get off. Yeah, you can see it there. The fishnet one is a little bit tighter, so I don't feel like it needed that. It doesn't have it, and I don't feel like it needed it. And here is the earring. It kind of looks like a flower with like a vine and spikes coming out. And there goes the necklace. And this just looks like winding vines with thorns and another flower. I am going to leave the jewelry silver. For now, at least. I do like it. And her belt has like a fang design that reminds me of Batman. And the fangs are actually in all of the flower centers as well. This undershirt is pretty cool. It's kind of multicolored vines with thorns. It does remind me of some of the weird dyed shirts I had in the 90s. And this little belly shirt has zigzaggy cut-off sleeves, and the bottom is hemmed, the top is serged. The barrette comes off really easy, and because of the braids in her hair, it actually does clip back in pretty easily. You don't end up with too much hair every time you try. And I love her hair. I love the molded side braids. I love the colors. I love the color mix. I love the braids. It's just super cool. And as you can see, she has all of the regular points of articulation of a non-budget Monster High doll. So she has the chest articulation in addition to all the rest. She appears to have a little stain on her face, and it looks like the same thing that's on my Monster Ball Laguna that never came off. It didn't come off with acetone or anything, which is a bit disappointing. I believe my Laguna had it on her cheek and her chin, and this is just right above Venus's eyebrow. Her hairspray stuff and her water bottle, and the lid on this is a little off, but the lid comes off of it. her water bottle has a cute little watering can on top, and my daughter enjoyed using that to pretend to water Julian. And her backpack, which is pretty unique. It does hold all of her stuff, but it holds Julian so well. And I'm just gonna say that I think that this weird cat plant gremlin is adorable and I love it. And that's all I'm gonna say, because I know some people really hate it, but I really like it. So her face was really bright green and all one color, which, you know, that's how most of them come, just a single color skin. But I really wanted to add some detail and depth, so I added a little bit of lighter green to the middle of her face and a little bit of darker green to a few shaded areas. I darkened her outer corners of her eyeshadow and her upper lip, and I added a little bit more black to the black parts of her eyes to try to cover up that like scratch or whatever was on it. Painted her fingernails pink to match her lipstick and all of her pink details. And this is the piece I was most excited to paint because it's really hard to even tell what these two Venus flytraps are at the top without any paint detail. They just look like a blob. And for all of these green accessories, I used 3 different colors of green. I started with the neutral middle, and then I added a lighter and a darker for highlights and shadows. And I really wanted to bring out these details in her legs, but I wasn't steady enough to do it with paint. I tried, and it wasn't looking very good. So I decided to try the colored pencil, and it worked pretty well. I only did her thighs and the upper parts of her lower legs because her leg warmers cover a lot of her legs, and about halfway down her shins, it's like the material slightly changed. It was really hard to get the colored pencil to stick, even with the base added. So no matter what I did, it's like the colored pencil was just scratching off the sealant or the paint or anything I put underneath it. So I just gave up on the lower leg about halfway down and decided that the leg warmers were going to have to do the work there. But I do really like how this turned out. I think that it added that detail nicely and in the end did exactly what I wanted. For the belt, I colored in the flowers to match the hairpiece. From the mold detail, it looks like this whole chain link thing could be vines, but I only colored the connecting pieces and left the rest silver. I painted her vines, which was not super easy. You can see just how rubbery they are. They just bounce every time I touch it. But again, I used 3 different colors to kind of give it a little bit of variation. And then I colored the flower to match the others. And each of these flowers I painted pink, and then I added a little bit of red detail in the middle. I did not paint out the detail of those fangs inside. I wasn't a huge fan of that in the flowers, and with my shaky hand, I couldn't have probably done it anyway. With the shoes, I started with black and went over the bottom part of the sole that's underneath the teeth, and I outlined all of these little vine areas, and the end of each stitch has kind of like a hole area, and I wanted to paint that a different color. Plus, the insides of these actual cutouts are the color of the shoe, and I wanted to paint those black as well. I used a metallic silver for the zipper, and I believe this took 2 coats just to make sure it was solid. And then I carried that on to the upper part of the sole that runs above the teeth. I used the same greens for the vines on the heels. I originally didn't plan on painting the teeth at all because with the way the shoes came, I thought that light green looked okay. But once I finished adding my details, I didn't really like it as much. So I did end up adding some, I can't remember if I used normal white or my pearly white that I sometimes use if I don't want to completely cover something. For the sunglasses, I used those same greens. I tried to make it look like the dark green was the base of the glasses and a lighter green vine was wrapping around that. I really like how she turned out. At first, I wasn't sure if my face blushing did anything, but looking at the before and after pictures, I think it really did help out what I was feeling was a very monotonous color between her skin and her hair. I think it broke that up a little bit. I love the vines on her legs. I do really think that the subtle details to the belt worked out really nicely. I pulled these vines up because when I had them both in the original position, it just was so much vines. But pulling them up asymmetrically, I think worked really well with her leg warmers. Her hairpiece definitely blends in a lot more now, which I like. I want it to kind of look like it's part of her, not like a decoration. I'm still unsure if I want to in the future paint her earrings and necklace, but for right now I'm happy with how they are. And I did not paint her phone or Julian because those are things that my kids do tend to play with. This is another one that I'm just so happy with. When I first saw her, I knew I wanted to customize her, and I'm so glad I did. I think that she looks really nice. So let me know in the comments below what you think of her, and do you plan on getting Venus? I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.